This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cardano. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, March the 5th, is an iconic rugby star from New Zealand. Yeah, I'm doing rugby, so what? Anyway, he was a legend for New Zealand, the All Blacks, the team that everyone wanted to beat. Highest point scorer in Test match rugby history, and they say he's one of the best fly halves in history. I don't know much about rugby terms, but anyway, this guy has won multiple Rugby World Cups, winning back to back in 2011 and 2015. He actually released an autobiography, and there was a documentary on him. So he's a legend. He's Dan Carter, who's now 41 years old. Carter was born on the South Island of New Zealand in Leiston. He actually played from the age of 5 as a scrum half in rugby, and amazing and all that. Anyway, he actually had a great uncle that was part of a great team in 1925. Anywho, he made his provincial debut for Canterbury in 2002 and signed by Crusaders in the Super Rugby thing, making him a second 5/8. I don't know what they would do it. But anyway, the Crusaders would be in the final of the Super 12 competition for 3 years from 03 to 06. But in the last 2 years, he won it. So he scored 221 points. He was a good kicker and all that. He would be able to kick balls, drop goals, and all that. He scored a few famous ones in World Cup play, and his kicking was impeccable. A lot of European teams wanted him, so he signed with Perpignan in France, which paid Carter the equivalent of 30,000 euros a season per game. Sorry, Carter unfortunately would rupture his Achilles tendon, out for the remainder of the season, but Perpignan won the top 14. So he went to Canterbury for the Air New Zealand Cup, and then won selection to play for the All Blacks after recovery. In 2012, he became the top scorer in Super Rugby history with over 1,300 points. And then he would join Racing Metro in Paris for 1.5 million euros a season. Dan Carter almost became an NFL kicker. But anyway, Carter helped Racing Metro win the top 14, scoring 5 penalty kicks, 3 points each. So anyway, it was just huge and all that. So anyway, he would join a team in Japan, Kobelco, and then went back to Racing 92 in France. In February 2021, he said he was retiring from professional rugby. And he was a legend. Internationally for the All Blacks, the team that everyone likes and all that. He was just a man. He actually scored 20 points in his All Blacks debut against Wales, which was shocking. And he was part of the 2003 Rugby World Cup squad, but he didn't spend a lot of time in the late stages. New Zealand didn't have a specialist goal kicker, but he did play over Italy, Canada, and Tonga. But he got to be a first teamer by 2004, displacing Carlos Spencer. So anyway, it was just huge what All Blacks did. And he scored 33 points in one match for the All Blacks, which was a record. So anyway, he became entangled in a fight with Johnny Wilkinson to be the highest test scorer in international rugby history. But he's got the mark. Unfortunately, Carter missed the 2011 World Cup because he had a groin tendon tear doing the final training session before they were to face Canada. But you know, New Zealand still won the title. So anyway, it worked out quite well. And in 2015, they got to the World Cup final against their rivals Australia. Carter put up 4 penalty kicks for 12 points, converted 2 tries, and had the drop goal that ended it, giving New Zealand the title. He was man of the match and was named International Rugby Board Player of the Year for the 3rd time. So he's a legendary test try guy and all that. Anyway, he actually got engaged to his longtime girlfriend and member of the New Zealand female team, Honor Dillon. They had 4 children. And Carter was modeled for jockey underwear and has been since 2003. They called him the sexiest New Zealand male for a couple years before he got married. He's a spokesperson for Philips electric shavers. So anyway, yeah, he had a lot of honors in France, New Zealand, even part of Japan, who was good. And of course, New Zealand winning 2 Rugby World Cups and all that. Lots of personal accolades. He's the officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit since 2016. So yeah, he's just fan freaking tastic. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.